Gurubhyo Namaha. A very warm welcome to another session of Conversations on Consciousness. Today we have with us Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati ji, joining us from New Delhi, isn't it, Swamiji?
Yes, yes.
Very warm welcome to you, Swamiji. Thank you for joining us. Let me begin with a small prayer. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वक्रतुण्डा महाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम्. Thank you, Swamiji, for making time for this session. We are all looking forward to, I'm personally looking forward to this discussion. Before I proceed, I just want to give a brief introduction for the benefit of the audience. Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati ji is the teacher of Advaita Vedanta, and he is a disciple of Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji and Swami Paramananda Bharati ji. And he was born in Mumbai, and he was greatly influenced by many teachers, and he has a master's degree in his Purvashrama. He had a master's degree in Geology, and then he has completed Vedanta courses at Sandeepani Sadhanalaya in Mumbai, and he has been teaching for many decades now, and we will be interacting with him about his life journey and his teachers, and some doubts about Vedanta, some aspects of Vedanta as well. So with this brief introduction, again, warm welcome to you, Swamiji. Thank you for making time for this session.
Hari Om.
So Swamiji, the very first question which I ask our guests on this show is to share about your life journey, especially the spiritual part of your life journey. Who were your early influences? What made you to take this path of spirituality, especially your interest in Vedanta? So give us a brief overview about your journey, Swamiji.
Hari Om. As you mentioned, I was born and brought up in Mumbai, and I would say in my childhood, I was very much influenced by my parents only. I used to observe them. They were very religious, and my father was very studious also. He used to study Vedanta. So I was influenced by my parents. And as a child, I used to read books. I would say that my life was influenced by lots of books which I came across. In my childhood, I got the opportunity, again, due to my parents, to read Bal Bhagavatam, Bal Ramayana, and stories from our Panchatantra, and so many other literature. Like in Maharashtra, during Diwali, a special magazine used to be printed. So in that, I used to love to read the life stories of saints and sages, Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj, Tukaram Maharaj, and Samartha Ramdas Swamiji, and so many other bhaktas. So as a child, I was very strongly influenced by this literature. Also, my mother used to take me to see some dharmic movies, like Har Har Mahadev, and how Gangaji came down from Swarga, about Bhagwan Sri Krishna, about Ramayana. So all the characters of this Puranas and our Itihasas were quite alive for me. I could, whenever I used to think about them, I used to think about them as alive people and devatas, not some imaginary characters. Later on in my life, I also came across some other serious literatures like Swami Vivekananda's books and Swami Yoganandaji, Paramhamsa Yoganandaji's autobiography of a yogi, and other texts, which also gave me this question in my mind. It created that questioning in my mind about life, about nature, and about this whole world. Another very interesting books which I used to read as a child during my school days was about science. Science Today was my favorite magazine, in which I used to love to read about the universe and what the great scientists used to talk about it, how it was created, the Big Bang and the pulsating universe and the black holes and the galaxies and all. It was so fascinating, I tell you, that even during my exams and all, I used to read those books, and I got scolded from my elder brothers also that you study your own text instead of reading all these other books. But I was very fascinated. And I think that's how my journey began. Also, my father introduced me to japa, to chant Bhagwan's name, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. He used to do it, this japa regularly. He used to always carry his this Tulsi Mala with him and a little Bhagavad Gita book. So he taught me how to do this japa and all. So it was a very important beginning for me. And all this happened before I joined the mission to study Vedanta in a systematic way. It was when I was doing my master's in geology, as you mentioned, in St. Xavier's, Mumbai, again that fascination was there to study Vedanta systematically from some great masters. And my father used to attend Puja Gurudev's yajnas, and he used to always talk about him. And also he used to share whatever he heard in the Gita Jnana Yajna with other family members, which I used to listen. And I was very fascinated by this. So one day I visited the Chinmaya Mission ashram in Powai and inquired about what is happening there. And then I came to know about this course that they teach systematically the entire Vedanta in a very, very traditional and a professional way. So I was so influenced by that I just dropped my MSc in between and joined the mission, Sandeepani Sadhanalaya, to study Vedanta under Swami Tejomayananji. He was the Acharya in 1984 when I joined. And I studied the entire Vedanta. And also, during my stay in the ashram, I used to visit the library in the ashram and used to be fascinated by the various books of different scholars and thinkers, not only from our own tradition, but also from the Western scholars and some from other religions and other faiths. So all this fascination was there in my life, and that's how I think my journey began, and it is even now it is going on. I will leave something for you to ask question. Otherwise, I will go on and on.
That's correct, Swamiji, because the question itself was very open-ended.
Yeah, so I had to stop somewhere.
Yeah. But I will pick from where you stopped. Is that when was it that you decided? I mean, it's one thing to leave your studies and joining Vedanta course to and do a deeper Vedanta pursuit. But it's absolutely very different thing to decide to take up sannyasa, because taking sannyasa is a very, very big decision. Because studying Vedanta in itself does not mean one develops vairagya immediately, because different people are at different stages of spiritual development. So it's very few people, very rare people to see that vairagya becomes mature enough that one is confident enough even to take sannyasa. So tell us about this. When did you take sannyasa? What made you take it? Did some incident trigger it, or how did this whole thing happen?
I think it happened in stages for me, because the first stage was that curiosity, or you can say jnana, to understand Vedanta. So I just as I was a college student, so just as going to college and going to ashram and studying there was same to me. When we go to college, we stay in the hostels and all and study. Similarly, I found that I will go to the ashram and study Vedanta. So just as a academic interest in Vedanta, but there were rules, regulation in ashram which we have to follow. So I joined the course in order to just study and understand Vedanta from some traditional masters like Swami Chinmayananda Maharaj and other great sannyasis and swamis from the mission. But after completing the course, there was this option whether to continue on this path as a swami or as a sannyasi, as a brahmachari, or to go back to worldly life. That choice was there. And I took some time to think about it, but then this influence of this Vedanta was so much that I thought that it is better to pursue this path only and drop everything else, because that is what I had learned from all these great texts, that this is the ultimate thing to be done. And I have already pursued this journey, half a journey. So taking this sannyas was not so then difficult. It was just in stride. So first I took the brahmachari diksha, and I was named brahmachari Manan Chaitanya. I remained as brahmachari for some time in yellow dress, and later on I was given that sannyasa diksha, and I became a sannyasi with Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati name, and that's how this journey began on this sannyas path.
Swamiji, what does this brahmacharya diksha entail? Can you just elaborate in the Chinmaya Sampradaya?
In the mission, actually, they have this rule that if you undergo the training Vedanta course, study Vedanta for 2 years, 2.5 years, then you can take a formal diksha. It's the initiation where your name it gets changed, and you can then wear a yellow dress. Yellow dress is given. Your name is changed with something brahmachari, something, and chaitanya is added. And yellow dress you will have to wear. While studying in the ashram, we had to wear white dress. But those who took the option of taking this brahmachari diksha, they were given yellow dress, and a name was changed. This is from our tradition only. We Chinmaya Mission actually belong to Sringeri Math tradition. So the brahmacharis are called Chaitanya, and the swamis are Ananda, and Saraswati is added to their name.
But I mean, apart from the dress change, etc., does brahmachari diksha include any mantra diksha, or are there particular lifestyle practices or certain
Yes,
rituals they have to practice after the diksha?
Yeah, after the Diksha, we are supposed to chant Gayatri Mantra and do the Sandhya regularly. Because Gayatri Mantra is the most important and ancient our mantra from our Vedas, which prepare our mind to become competent to understand the uh, in, deeper teachings of Vedanta. So it's a very powerful mantra which we have to regularly chant. It is the main thing, and then other what call values which we have to follow, like ahimsa, satyam, asti, and all. So it prepares us, and also it protects us from other influences of the world. The name change and the dress change helps a lot on this path. Because we carry a big baggage with our name, and we carry a big baggage with our dress, and it becomes very difficult to drop those baggage. And the most beautiful and the easiest way to drop your baggage is to just change your name. You become a different person, and change your dress, you become a different person. Means mentally you start looking at yourself as a different person. So automatic transformation happens, and it becomes very helpful for a spiritual seeker on this path.
Wonderful, wonderful, Swamiji. Moving forward, you have had the wonderful opportunity to study under Swami Chinmayananda ji as well as Swami Paramananda Bharati ji. So, tell us about your experience with learning under these two different teachers, and perhaps some anecdotes if you have something to share, as well as do highlight about their teaching methods. I'm sure each teacher has a unique teaching method, even though the subject is same. The way it is communicated, the way they speak, the way they teach would be different. So do highlight on these aspects.
See, I was very much influenced by the teachings or the writings of Swami Vivekananda. Very powerful, straight to the point, inspiring, and motivating. And it was very impactful. And when I heard Swami Chinmayananda Maharaj, Gurudev, I could see some similarities in his approach to spirituality also. He used to say that spirituality should be dynamic, not passive. One has to proactively move on this path and achieve one's goal. So his approach was very strong and very motivating or very inspiring. And Pujya Gurudev had his own method of teaching Vedanta in the most simple way. He had devised this teaching aid, what we call the BMI chart. You must have seen the BMI chart. So Om and Vasanas and BMI, PFT, OET and all. And through this chart, he is to convey the essential message of Vedanta in one lecture itself. Pujya Gurudev used to go all over the world sharing this knowledge through Gita Jnana Yajna, through his talks on Upanishad. But the first day of all his talks is to be like a presentation of the very essence of Vedanta with the help of this chart. So he used to convey the message in the most wonderful way, and very scientific, very logical, very rational, and had that mastery over English language also, and a great sense of humor. So I had the opportunity to listen to the entire Gita from Pujya Gurudev in one of the camps. To listen to many of the Upanishads and the Prakarana Granthas directly from him. and got the opportunity to be with Pujya Gurudev in many occasions. Like once I remember he was visiting Goa for a yajna, and I was there, and I was doing his Pada Seva. That time I asked him a question, that what is the difference between ego and self, ahankar and atma, what is the difference? So he explained to me, only I was there in front of him, so he explained to me, and then he gave a very beautiful example. He said in English language you write that small I with a crooked line and a dot on top. And then he says that is the ego. And the dot is like Paramatma, who is so high, but because of a crookedness, he seems very high. So when you straighten yourself up through sadhana, through purification of your mind and all, and gain this knowledge, then this crookedness goes away, and that you touch the dot, and that small I becomes a capital I. You come to know that I, the ahankar, the essential nature of that I is that Shuddha Atma alone. So in this, I remember such little incidents through which he used to teach not only me, but to other people also.
What about Swami Paramananda Bharati ji?
Yeah. So after many years of being in the mission and studying, and I continued to study even when I was posted in different centers of the mission. I was in Ahmedabad for 1.5 years. Thereafter, I was posted in Goa for 6 years. Then again to Delhi for 6 years. Then I was abroad in Dallas, in California for 3 years. Again in Delhi for some 17 years. And then in Goa for 3 years. And for the past 4 years, I am not connected to the mission or to any other organization. I am just on my own following this path. When I was in the mission, I think it was in 2011, I came in contact with Swami Paramananda Bharati at our Uttar Kashi ashram. At Uttar Kashi, he was a parivrajak. He just came to our ashram, and he came and met me and just spoke about Vedanta. We had a little chat, and he gave his book Vedanta Prabodh to me, and I went through it. Then in 2013, he again visited Delhi and contacted me through his one of his students and said that I want to come and stay with you for 4 days. So I was very happy, and he came, he stayed in the ashram with me, and he taught me adhyasa bhashya and the 4 initial sutras of Brahma Sutra by himself. He only chose as though, and he just taught me. And that was a turning point in my life. It was a most important event of my life, I can say, spiritual life. Because before meeting him, though I had learnt a lot and I studied and read many books, still many of the facets of Vedanta were not very clear to me. Some doubts were there. Some what you call sharp edges were there. Things were not clear about all these terms which we use, like Maya and Avidya and Ishvara and Brahma and Moksha and all those things. Though I used to talk on the various topics and all, but still had some dark areas, or you can say some points which were not clear. But after interacting with Pujya Swami Paramananda Bharati ji and learning from him, all the cobwebs got cleared, and things became very, very, very clear to me. Vedanta became very clear to me. See, Swami Paramananda Bharati's unique style of teaching is that is very, very systematic, extremely logical and scientific. And he took Vedanta, means Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, as pramana, as an authentic pramana only. He never deviated from it. He didn't use his own ideas or concept or some other theories and all. Just took Vedanta as pramana to understand, to know the self. Just like eyes are the pramana to see. You can't use your ears to see. Similarly, he took that Vedanta as pramana, and also the Bhashya of Adi Shankaracharya ji as equal to the Upanishads, to the Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra as pramana. Because Adi Shankaracharya ji is the Sakshat avatar of Ishvara only, so his words also he took as pramana. So his whole understanding of Vedanta was based on the Prasthantrayi and the Bhashya of Adi Shankaracharya ji. He did not take any other book to confuse the matter. And even when he studied other books or literature or other Mahatmas, those things which were in tune with Shankar Bhashya, he accepted, and just rejected all that which was not in tune with Shankar Bhashya. So that was his understanding, that was his dedication, and his way of communicating so powerful that I was very much influenced by that, and I just accepted him as my teacher, and remain in contact with him for about 10 years till he attained Mahasamadhi. And even now, actually, I spend a lot of time listening to his videos and audios whenever I get opportunity, just to stay in tune with the teachings. So his influence is very, very powerful in my life.
That's very wonderful, Swamiji. I think especially the point you mentioned about Vedanta as a pramana shastra, and not just a philosophy, not just a speculation, not just a speculative investigation or a philosophical investigation. I think that is a very, very important perspective, without which our Shastriya parampara cannot be understood. I think that is the most important insight, not just in the context of Vedanta, the Veda itself as a pramana shastra, and its Veda teaches on one hand the dharma, on the other hand the moksha, and it is the pramana for both. So what the Veda teaches is not some person's opinion, it is not a speculative pursuit. I mean, especially in modern context, I want your comments on this, especially because in the modern context, we somehow feel that just like in the West, we have these Western philosophers uh, trying to discover truth, trying to intellectually approaching the question. They also speak about our Shastras, our Vedas, our Upanishads, and everything as an evolution of ideas. So they say originally the Vedas contained primitive hymns to the deities. Then it gave way to ritualism of the Brahmanas. Then came the high philosophy of Upanishads, which were linearly evolved. And see, all this uh, certain that everything is a human imagination or a human speculation. So this is the current modern understanding, academic understanding. But this notion that the texts are a pramana completely changes the perspective, completely goes against this. Please, your comments on this, Swamiji.
Yeah, their views actually are totally childish and no understanding of our Shastra properly. Vedanta or the Vedas are Anadi, Ananta, and Apaurushaya. No doubt about it. And unless we really understand this aspect of the Vedas, we will not really proceed properly on our spiritual journey. And as you said, Vedas means they talk about dharma and they talk about Brahma. And no, but these are not the topics, or these are not within the purview of our intellect. Intellectually, you cannot decide what is right, what is dharma, and what is adharma. Similarly, intellectually, you cannot understand the nature of your own self. It's not possible. It is beyond the scope of the intellect. See, when we are in deep sleep, we go beyond intellect, we go beyond our senses, we go beyond all the means of knowledge. But I exist there. So no pramana can enter your deep sleep and understand yourself except Vedanta pramana. So unless we appreciate this, we will not be able to move forward. And these Western ideas and a lot of our own people from our own nation gets influenced by them. And they also sometimes talk about Vedic period or about this evolution of knowledge, as you mentioned. And later on, they came up with Upanishad and all. These are all childish theories having no hands and legs. You understand? See, this Vedanta is Anadi, and my teacher, Swami Paramananda Bharati ji, he talked about how the Shabda and Artha are Anadi. How the words and their meaning are not something created by human beings. They are Anadi. Even our language, the grammar is Anadi. So based on even some logical and rational and scientific principles, we can understand and appreciate the anaditva of our Vedas. And even objectively looking at the depth and the vastness of the knowledge which is revealed there, open-minded, intelligent person will have to accept them as apaurushaya. So they are the praman, and unless we accept them as the praman, we will not move forward, because our own intellect cannot be praman, our own thinking cannot be praman for self-knowledge. Self is not the object of inference. It is not the object of perception. All knowledge of the world is based on basic perception. But Atma is beyond sense perception. So Vedanta is the praman for that. And the sooner we understand this and accept it fully, 100%, we will not be really sincerely moving on the path of dharma and Brahma.
That's very wonderfully put, Swamiji. I think this notion of pramana, it's so missing in the current discourse, current understanding, that it is the source of lot of confusion and misunderstanding in how we approach our shastras. But moving on, I want to ask you, you mentioned about studying adhyasa bhashya with Swamiji. And this adhyasa is, I think, a topic which is a lot of confusion around this. What is adhyasa? What is avidya? What is maya? Are they same? Are they different? If they're different, how? What is the context of the usages of these terms? I think these terms also have multiple meanings used in differently in some different contexts also. So please do highlight on this.
This is a very deep topic, and it will take a lot of time to go into it in detail. But briefly, if I have to mention some of the important points, see, Adhyas Bhashya is the introductory Bhashya which Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya ji wrote to introduce Brahma Sutra. And Brahma Sutras are like the important text of Vedanta. Every topic of Vedanta is covered in Brahma Sutras, the 555 sutras. So this Adhyas Bhashya is like introduction to Vedanta. Adi Shankaracharya ji introduced Vedanta. And in Vedanta, the main important thing to understand is what exactly is our problem and what is the solution. See, when we go to a doctor, he does the diagnosis and then he gives the medicine. So in Adhyas Bhashya, Shankaracharya ji has done the diagnosis of our life. What exactly is our problem? And what is the solution? So when he talked about the problem is adhyas. Adhyas is the main cause of our sorrow, our suffering. And self-knowledge is the solution which is revealed in Vedanta. Vedanta is the pramana which reveals self-knowledge. But why we should gain that self-knowledge? Because we have adhyas. And why do we have adhyas? Because we have avidya. What is avidya? Avidya is that I don't know myself as I am. I know that I exist, but I do not know exactly what is my nature. So I have a samanya jnana about myself, a general knowledge about my own existence, but I don't have the vishesha jnana about myself, that I am Brahma. So I have that absence of vishesha jnana is what is called avidya. And this is common. Every one of us, most of us, except some enlightened masters who are born enlightened, we are born with this ignorance, which is anadi, which is there from the beginningless time. So I don't know who am I. That is one thing. And I don't know what is this world. There are this twofold ignorance about the nature of my own self. I know I exist, but I don't know exactly what is my nature. And I know the world exists, but I don't know exactly what is the nature. So in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan calls it Kshetrajna, and this world which we experience is called Kshetra. So the real nature of Kshetrajna and Kshetra is not known. This absence of knowledge, this about Kshetra and Kshetrajna, gives rise to wrong knowledge, faulty knowledge. Just as the example is given in Vedanta, when you don't know the rope as rope, then there is a chance of misunderstanding it as something else. Similarly, when I don't know exactly what is my nature and what is the nature of this world, then there is misunderstanding about my nature and the nature of this world. I intermix them. I superimpose my nature on the world, and I superimpose the nature of the world on myself. Knowledge, happiness is my nature, but I superimpose it on the world. I think there is happiness in the world. I think there is knowledge happens, or the buddhi is the knower. And I superimpose the nature of the world on myself. This body is also part of the world. So when the body changes, I say I am changing. When there's sorrow in the mind, I say I am unhappy. So this mutual superimposition of the natures of Kshetra and Kshetrajna on each other is what is called adhyasa. Kshetra is not adhyasa, Kshetrajna is not adhyasa, but mutual superimposition of them and their nature is what is called adhyasa. And when we gain that self-knowledge, we can become free of this adhyasa. So, according to Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya ji, as taught by my teacher, Swami Paramananda Bharati, avidya is abhavarup. It's absence of the proper knowledge. And this world is bhavarup. It is the expression of Maya, which is the Shakti of Ishvara. So Maya is different and avidya is different. Maya is the Shakti of Ishvara, and Shakti and Shaktiman are not different. So Maya and Ishvara are not different. They're one only. So to many thinkers and many teachers, they have their own ideas, or they have taken the ideas from somewhere else. Many of them say they teach that Maya and Avidya are same, and in this way they try to explain things, but it is not same. Maya is the Shakti of Bhagwan, and one can transcend Maya by surrendering to that Ishvara. In Bhagavad Gita also Bhagwan says, Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapatyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. So when we surrender to Ishvara, we can transcend Maya. We can go beyond the influence of Maya. We cannot destroy Maya, because Maya is the Shakti of Bhagwan. Maya is Anadi Ananta only. Just as Bhagwan is Anadi Ananta, his Shakti is also Anadi Ananta. But avidya can be destroyed through proper knowledge, through self-knowledge. So this is one thing which is very, very important, and which we can understand when we study the Adhyasa Bhashya. See, in Adhyasa Bhashya, Adi Shankaracharya ji doesn't quote from any Upanishad or any scriptures, because he explained the whole thing very logically, rationally, which can be understood by all with an open mind. He presents to us our own condition. When we study this Adhyasa Bhashya, we will become strongly aware that, oh, I am ignorant about myself, and I am ignorant about this world. And that will create that jnana in my mind. And when that jnana arises, then I become fit to study Brahma Sutra, because the first sutra of Brahma Sutra is Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. If I don't have Jidnyasa, then my journey itself will not begin. Many people, they don't have that right Jidnyasa, because the confusion itself is not understood properly. What exactly is my problem is not understood. And many times we quote from here, there, from this book, that book, and sometimes wrongly also. Yes, most popular quotation which generally people give is about that Vedanta. They say the essence of Vedanta is conveyed in that half a sentence. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. And they assign this sentence to Adi Shankaracharya ji, which is not proper. He has never said this in any of his bhashya or any of his other work.
I think Swamiji that half verse appears in one of the Prakarana Granthas attributed to Shankaracharya. Vedanta Dindema or
yes. So, if you strictly follow the Upanishads and also Shankar Bhashya only, without connecting to any of the because many of the Prakarana Granthas, they are in contradiction with the teachings of Shankaracharya in the Bhashya. But if you just study the Bhashya, you will not find any contradiction. So, Bhashya is the authority, Bhashya is the pramana actually. Because there is no contradiction, there is no inconsistency. But other texts, they have their own ideas, theories, which are in conflict with the Bhashya. Also, this half a sentence is present in one of the Upanishads also, but it is in different contexts. I think Niralambana Upanishad or something, but it is in different contexts. There it is describing tapas, but it is not of Adi Shankaracharya ji, and he doesn't talk about it in any of his bhashya. So it is a total misunderstanding. So as I said, the world is not mithya, I am not mithya, but considering, superimposing my ideas or my dharma on the world and the dharma of the world on myself is what is called mithya. The misunderstanding is mithya. Mithya means false. Mithya means wrong. Misunderstanding or my understanding is mithya, means understanding is false. Understanding is wrong. Understanding about myself and understanding about this world is wrong. That is the meaning. And this we understand if we study Shankar Bhashya and especially this adhyasa Bhashya properly. And that is what I did from my master, and things became absolutely crystal clear.
Wonderful.
He has also written a commentary on Shankar Bhashya. That book is available, Shreyaskari. So those who are interested, they can go through that book, Shreyaskari. It is on Shankar Bhashya, is what you call Adhyasa Bhashya, and the 4 sutras of Brahma Sutra.
This commentary is a Sanskrit commentary?
It is in Sanskrit, it is in Hindi, it is in English, it is translated in many languages, in Tamil, in Kannada, of Swami Paramananda Bharati. You can get it on Amazon and other places. It is printed by Chaukamba Press.
That's wonderful, Swamiji. Thank you for the book recommendation. I think it's a very wonderful, very fascinating topic to discuss. This adhyasa and avidya, maya. I mean, there is so many aspects to it, so many dimensions to it, and of course that also leads to so many confusions also.
Yes.
So from adhyasa and avidya, I just want to move on to one final question on Vedantam, which is to do with Atma Jnana or Brahma Jnana or Atma Brahmatma Aikya Jnana that we say. So in this context, the Shastras also speak about Brahmakara Vritti Jnana or Akhandakara Vritti Jnana. So I find this this Atma Jnana itself is actually a Vritti Jnana, Atmakara or Akhandakara Vritti Jnana. So can you please explain what exactly does it mean by Akhandakara Vritti? or Brahmakara Vritti. I mean, so in this, so yeah, please do explain.
Okay. See, we are trying to gain this knowledge of our own self or of Brahma. So who is this I who is trying to gain knowledge? I who is using the buddhi. In my waking state, I use my buddhi to gain knowledge. Just as I use my senses to perceive, similarly, I am using my buddhi to gain knowledge about myself. I am trying to gain knowledge about myself. So this, when I study the Vedanta, the teacher tells me that you are Brahma, and that Brahma is indicated as Satyam Jnanam Anantam, and Brahma is also indicated as the cause of this world. So world is pointed out, and through cause and effect, Brahma is pointed out as Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Satyam means changeless existence. Jnanam means Nyapti Mata, pure knowledge or objectless knowledge. And Anantam is infinite, without any limitation. So with my buddhi, I have to understand this Brahma by negating asatyam, parichinnam, and jadam. Through neti, I have to comprehend this Brahma. When I practice this neti to comprehend Brahma, the mind, means antakarana becomes nirmala, shuddha, and swachha, and all these non-Brahma ideas are negated, and that condition of the buddhi, where all the asatyam, jadam, parichinnam are negated, then that state of the buddhi is like akhandakara vritti only. It is not a vritti, it is a nishprachara buddhi, it is called. And when I reach that stage, then I get intellectually convinced that yes, such a Brahma is there. That is actually, I understand Brahma as a neya. I understand Brahma as neya. Just like I understand the flower, the mountain, the river with the help of my buddhi. But in that buddhi, the akar of that object happens. But here, no akar takes place. But similarly, I understand Brahma. So I understand Brahma as a neya. That same neya Brahma, I have to then understand as myself, as I am in my deep sleep, free of all the upadhis, free of body, free of mind, free of intellect. The kshetrajna I have to understand what I have intellectually understood as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that is myself. So asserting my own self as Brahma is then the process of nididhyasana. So before even pursuing the path of nididhyasana, I should attain this nishprachara buddhi. And that is that neya Brahma, it is called. In Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan talks about it. Neyam yattat pravakshami yajñatva amrutam ashnute and all. Nasattan nasuduchyate. In Adhyas Bhashya, and not in the Brahma Sutra Bhashya, Shankaracharya says that first we have to gain this knowledge. Jnanena hi pramanena avagantum ishtam Brahma. When we gain this jnana, this nishprachara buddhi, then we are convinced about that Brahma, and thereafter we pursue the path of nididhyasana and gain abidance in this Brahma as myself. this is a very subtle and a very beautiful topic, which my teacher, Swami Paramananda Bharati ji, has covered very systematically in his talks, in his teachings. But briefly, I could indicate it in this way.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. But I think these are very deep topics, and
Yeah.
obviously, a 60-minute conversation will not be doing justice. Even
Yes.
in them, each question you have hardly 5 minutes, 10 minutes to respond. So, so of course, so but I do look forward to. I think we could organize some talks on purely on these topics, wherein you could
Yeah.
take up this in much more detail than
Yes.
we could discuss. But we are very grateful that we could have these conversations, Swamiji. So before we wrap up today's session, can you share how people can get in touch with you? How can you share about the classes you are currently taking and how they
Mhm.
can join them?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, since after leaving the mission, I was independently, I started working. And then this COVID happened. And during COVID, I started my online classes. I covered the entire Bhagavad Gita and also many of these Upanishads in my regular online classes. And they are going on even now. And all my talks are available on my YouTube channel. So on my name, Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati, you will find that YouTube channel and all my talks are available there. Recently, I concluded the Chandogya Upanishad talks on the 6th, 7th, and 8th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad. So now there's a break, and then I will soon I will start with another text of Vedanta. Generally, I take some Upanishads or some other text with Adi Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya only. So pretty soon I will be starting another text. Otherwise, I am here in Delhi and I take some offline classes also at various places. Some simple text like Narad Bhakti Sutra or Bhaja Govindam or some other text also, and some meditation sessions and all. And now this Bhagavad Gita is Jayanti is coming up, so I have a yajna in Kanpur from 24th to 28th December, where I will be speaking on the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita in Hindi. So people can come in, I mean, they can be in touch with me through Facebook, through this messenger, and through YouTube, what you call comments and all. And those who are more keen and all, they can also meet me in Delhi, learn from me, or interact with me on so many nowadays. All these social medias are there, so you can interact with me. Or if nothing works, then you can contact Nitin.
Yes, and
He will tell
we
you
will share Swamiji's
how to
email ID
interact.
with you. Yeah.
Huh?
And we
Yeah.
can share Swamiji's email ID to them. Those
Yes,
who
yes.
are interested, if
Those
they
who are
write to us.
interested, you can share the email ID. I think it's available on the net somewhere. So email ID, my phone and all. So you can always be in touch with me.
Thank you very much, Swamiji, for a very wonderful, very enlightening session. And we look forward to engaging with you more in coming future. And I personally deeply enjoyed, learned a lot from this session. Thank you very much, Swamiji.
Thank you. Hari
Uh,
Om. We'll
uh,
conclude with a prayer.
yes, Swamiji, please go ahead.
Okay. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।
Thank you, Swamiji. Viewers, with this we conclude the session. Please follow us on Facebook and Twitter for announcements about our upcoming sessions. Thank you. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.